Why do some people pull away the moment someone gets close to them? Why do others become obsessed, anxious, and clingy the second they feel someone slipping away? And why, no matter how many times you tell yourself, I'm going to do better this time, you end up in the same relationship patterns, over and over again? The answer isn't that you're broken. It isn't that you're too much, or not enough. The answer is your attachment style. Today, we're going deep into one of the most eye-opening books ever written about human relationships. Naumno or Himdiwan Sur Iwan, Attached. This is the book that will make you understand yourself and and everyone you've ever loved. On a completely different level. I'm warning you right now, by the end of this video, you're going to look back at every relationship you've ever had and finally understand what was really going on. Let's get into it. Before we dive into the 3 attachment styles, you need to understand the foundation of this entire book, attachment theory. Attachment theory was first developed by British psychologist John Bowlby in the 1950s. Bowlby discovered something revolutionary. Human beings are biologically wired to form deep emotional bonds with other people. This isn't weakness. This isn't neediness. This is biology. We are literally built to connect. Later, researcher Mary Ainsworth expanded on Bowlby's work. She ran a famous experiment called the strange situation, where she observed how babies responded when their mothers left the room and then came back. What she found was fascinating. Some babies were secure. They were upset when mom left, but calmed down when she returned. Some were anxious. They couldn't stop crying even after mom came back. And some were avoidant. They acted like they didn't even care that mom was gone. Here's the critical insight. Amir Levine and Rachel Heller argue that these same patterns we develop as babies, we carry them into our adult romantic relationships. The way you behaved when your mother left the room at age 1 is remarkably similar to how you behave when your partner doesn't text you back today. That's the power of attachment theory, and that's what this book is all about. Levine and Heller identify 3 core attachment styles. Most people are dominated by one, sure, though you can have elements of more than one. Secure people are comfortable with intimacy. They don't panic when their partner needs space, and they don't feel smothered when their partner wants closeness. They communicate clearly. They trust. They don't play games. When something bothers them in a relationship, they bring it up directly, not to start a fight, but to resolve it. They believe relationships can be both deep and stable. Love for them doesn't feel like a battlefield. Here's the thing about secure people that most people miss. They make amazing partners, but they're often overlooked because they're not exciting in the way that anxious or avoidant people can be. There's no hot and cold, no push and pull, no drama. And unfortunately, our culture has been conditioned to confuse drama with passion. Secure people aren't boring. They're just emotionally healthy. And if you've never been with one, it might feel almost too easy at first. Anxious attachment is the I need constant reassurance style. People with anxious attachment crave deep intimacy. They want to be close. They want to merge. But they're also terrified, absolutely terrified, that the person they love is going to leave them. So what do? They become hypervigilant. They analyze every text message. They notice every change in tone. They read into silence. They check their phone compulsively. They rehearse conversations in their heads. They imagine worst case scenarios. And the painful irony, this very behavior, the clinging, the overtexting, the need for reassurance, often pushes the other person away, which then confirms the anxious person's deepest fear. See, I knew they were going to leave. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Levine and Heller explain that anxious people have a highly sensitive attachment system. Small things, an unanswered call, a shorter text than usual, a partner who seems distracted, can send their entire nervous system into alarm mode. Does this sound familiar? If it does, you're not crazy. You're anxiously attached. And understanding this changes everything. Avoidant attachment is the I need my independence style. People with avoidant attachment deeply fear intimacy. Even though they may not consciously realize it, they want connection, but the moment someone gets too close, something inside them pulls back. They feel suffocated, trapped, overwhelmed. So they create distance. They get busy with work. They pull away after moments of closeness. They focus on their partner's flaws to justify keeping them at arm's length. They idealize past partners or fantasy relationships. because real intimacy with a real person feels too threatening. Avoidant people often tell themselves a story. I just haven't found the right person yet. Or I'm just someone who needs a lot of space. Or I'm too independent for a serious relationship. But Levine and Heller argue this is a defense mechanism, not a personality trait. Avoidant people aren't cold, they aren't incapable of love. They've simply learned, often through early experiences, that depending on others leads to disappointment or engulfment. So they shut the door before anyone can hurt them. There's a fourth style that the book touches on, the anxious avoidant or disorganized attachment. This is the most painful one. These people desperately want love and are terrified of it at the same time. They push people away and then panic when they leave. If this resonates with you, it's worth exploring with a therapist because this pattern often has roots in early trauma. Levine and Heller explain one of the most common and most painful relationship dynamics in the world, the anxious avoidant trap. Here's how it works. Anxious people are attracted to avoidant people because avoidants seem mysterious, independent, and confident. They don't come on too strong, they're a challenge, and for someone who's anxiously attached, the uncertainty of, does this person really like me, gets mistaken for excitement and chemistry. Avoidant people are attracted to anxious people because anxious people are warm, loving, and expressive. They pursue. They make the avoidant feel desired and wanted without threatening their independence too much, because the anxious person's neediness gives the avoidant a reason to maintain emotional distance, so they come together. And at first, it feels incredible, but then the pattern kicks in. The anxious person wants more closeness, more reassurance, more communication. The avoidant person feels suffocated, pulls back. The anxious person, feeling abandoned, pushes harder. More texts, more questions, more emotion. The avoidant pulls back further. And round it goes until one person explodes or shuts down completely, or the relationship ends in a painful, confusing mess. And here's the cruel part. When they break up, the anxious person is devastated, and the avoidant person feels relief, followed by a strange longing, so they reach back out, and the cycle starts all over again. Levine and Heller call this the anxious avoidant dance, and millions of people are stuck in it. Porque they are wondering why love always feels like war. The answer is attachment styles. And now you know, here's something important. Your attachment style is not your fault. Levine and Heller are very clear about this. Your attachment style was shaped by your earliest experiences, primarily your relationship with your caregivers in the first few years of life. If your caregivers were consistently available, warm, and responsive, you likely developed a secure attachment. If your caregivers were inconsistent, sometimes warm, sometimes cold, sometimes present, sometimes absent, you likely developed an anxious attachment. If your caregivers were emotionally unavailable, dismissive, or encouraged extreme independence, you likely developed an avoidant attachment. None of this is a life sentence, but understanding the origin of your attachment style is the first step to changing it. You didn't choose your early experiences, but you can choose what you do next. One of the most powerful concepts in the entire book is what Levine and Heller call the dependency paradox. Here it is. The more securely attached you feel to your partner, the more independent you become. Our culture worships independence. We're told you don't rely on anyone, be your own person. You don't need anyone to complete you. And while self reliance is important, the science says something more nuanced. When you have a truly secure relationship, one where you know your partner has your back, your brain actually relaxes, your nervous system calms down. You stop using emotional energy to manage relationship anxiety. And that freed up energy, you use it to pursue your goals, your passions, your purpose. Think about it. When you're in a relationship where you're constantly anxious, wondering where you stand, analyzing behavior, managing your partner's moods, how much mental energy does that consume? Enormous amounts. But when you know you're loved and secure, you can focus, you can create, you can take risks, you can grow. This is the paradox. Real intimacy doesn't make you weaker or more dependent. It makes you more free. Levine and Heller spend a significant portion of the book teaching what they call effective communication, the way secure people navigate conflict and needs in relationships. Secure people don't hint. They don't wait and hope their partner figures it out. They say, I need more quality time with you, or when you go silent after a fight, I feel anxious. Can we agree to check in within 24 hours? This feels vulnerable, but it's the only way real intimacy is built. Protest behaviors are the anxious person's go to moves: withdrawing, becoming cold, saying, I'm fine when you're not, threatening to leave, making your partner jealous. These behaviors feel powerful in the moment, but destroy connection over time. Instead, state what you feel, state what you need directly. Levine and Heller actually recommend discussing attachment needs early. Are you someone who needs regular communication? Say so. Are you someone who needs a lot of alone time? Say so. Compatible attachment styles save enormous amounts of pain. And don't confuse unavailability with mystery. We've been taught that someone who's hard to get is more desirable, that someone who pulls away must be worth chasing. But Levine and Heller flip this completely. Unavailability is not attractive, it's a red flag. Consistency, reliability, and emotional availability are the real foundations of lasting love. This is the question everyone asks. And the answer is yes, but it takes time and intentional work. For anxious people, the most powerful thing you can do is get into a relationship with a securely attached person. Being consistently loved in Asant without the push and pull literally rewires your nervous system over time. Your brain learns, I don't have to fight for this, it's safe here. For avoidant people, therapy, especially attachment focused therapy, can help you understand why intimacy feels threatening. When you trace the fear back to its origin and process it, the walls start to come down, slowly, but they do come down. For everyone, self awareness is the first step. The fact that you're watching this video, learning about attachment theory, that is the work. Most people go their entire lives without understanding why they do what they do in relationships. You now have a framework, use it. Levine and Heller give very practical advice at the end of the book. Identify your attachment style, identify the attachment style of your current or past partners. If you're single, actively seek secure partners. They might not feel as exciting at first, but give them a chance. Stability and consistency will feel like relief once you stop confusing chaos with chemistry. Practice being direct about your needs. And be patient with yourself. Attachment patterns took years to form. They won't dissolve overnight. Every small shift is progress. Here's what I want you to take away from this video. You're not broken. You're not too needy. You are not emotionally unavailable by nature. You're a human being with an attachment system that was shaped by experiences you didn't choose, and that can be reshaped by experiences you do choose. Attached is one of those rare books that doesn't just explain human behavior, it gives you compassion for yourself and for the people who hurt you, because most of the time they weren't trying to destroy you, they were just acting from their own attachment wounds. Understanding that doesn't erase the pain, but it changes the story. If this video opened your eyes, please share it with someone who needs it. Like it. Subscribe for more deep dives like this one. I'll see you in the next one. You in the